I have my picture. I don't see my picture. Oh, there it is.
Who's eating?
Me. Look, I got a bun. I literally just finally showered and like just put it in a bun.
I just showered. I feel like a new person.
I feel wonderful. Yeah.
Wait, who's eating? Is that you?
That's me. I'm eating that.
Hey, Kyle and Nicola and Anastasia.
Oh, hi.
Hi. Guys.
Ooh,
I love your background. So, how was your first day? Courtney, did you meet Anastasia yet? Courtney, Anastasia, Courtney.
No, I think I saw her in the audience. Audience. Office.
What are you talking about?
Hi.
I need to change my background now.
Now I want to also. I'm gonna turn
I don't know how to do it though. I've actually like tried one time, and I have all the images and everything in there, and I'm like,
Kyle. I know you can hear me.
I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna go try to figure out this green screen. I'm just kidding.
No, don't leave.
I'm joking.
You know what's strange? For some reason, I set this Zoom call up wrong, and it's making me admit everyone.
Yeah.
Kind of annoying. Hey, Michelle.
Hey.
How are you?
Good, good.
Thank you for letting us see you. Nicola and Kyle are refusing. They're on the call, but they're refusing to let us see them and or hear them.
I'm in a bun, man. I'm like not in my cute self.
Okay, it's 4:03. Where is everybody?
Good video. Good video.
Sorry guys, I was on a call. What's up? How's it going?
Oh, look who it is. It's Mr. Kyle Can.
I'm back on mute. Bye.
No, come back. Back. Wait, this is the funniest thing. Lindsay made me, you ready for this? Lindsay made me practice a Zoom call with her like an hour ago because she was nervous that it wouldn't work. And
for her class?
No, for this meeting, which I find really funny because she's not even on the call. But it could be my fault. Do I have to?
Maybe she's waiting.
What's that?
Maybe she's in the waiting room.
I know. I don't think so. All right, let me put a another message in. Oh, people are saying they can't log in. Lisa, Lindsay, and Maria cannot connect. Oh, Nicola's amazing. Thank you, Nicola. We are waiting and about to start.
You're welcome.
Oh, she can hear me.
I'm here.
How are you?
I'm not here. I'm good. How are you?
Wait, did you reply? I can't remember about what happened with your deal. Oh, the cash deal. Okay, right. Sorry.
Oh, yes. So actually now they are wanting to go half and half. So I want to do half cash, half loan. So they are now waiting to get the pre-approval and so they can get me all of it at one time.
Are they going to work with Mo?
I had set them up with Mo. I'm not sure if they switched at this point or what, because she said she's going to call the bank, but she has been working with Mo the last few weeks, her and her husband both sending him all the documents and stuff. So let me text him.
Yeah, shoot him a text. Okay. Hi, Maria. Hi, Lindsay.
Hi.
Hi, iPhone. Oh, that's Lisa.
I had to do for my iPhone. My computer's not logging up yet.
Okay, no worries.
I'm going to try to switch over.
Okay, is there anyone else? Lindsay just said, you texted me, you don't have a link. What about Roni? This is something.
Oh my God. What about Axiana here?
Are you driving, Maria?
Yeah, but very, very bad. Oh, God.
All right, be careful.
Yeah, be careful. It's nasty out there today.
Okay, so what I want to do, I'm gonna put you on mute, Maria, because there's a lot of sound. Okay. What I wanted to do today is go over the script that you should be using to turn a buyer lead into a seller. And like we talked about on Tuesday, 55% of the leads, the buyer leads, are also going to need to sell. And it really becomes about asking the right questions and learning how to position ourselves correctly. So, Lindsay, are you ready for this? It's showtime.
Okay.
So Lindsay and I actually did this earlier today because I wasn't sure if I knew what I was talking about. I mean, it's not true. I know what I'm talking about, but we practiced it and it was good. The more you practice, the better. So with that being said, what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a role play for a buyer lead that comes in that also has a need to sell. And then once we're gonna do that, I'll be the agent and then she will be the agent. And then we're gonna do an additional role play where I'm gonna show you how to use the calculator for a Zoom call with an actual client so you can walk them through the valuation. Does that make sense? Oh, Roni's here. Hold on, let me admit Roni. This is so strange. I accidentally created a waiting room. I wonder if we should wait for Lisa because she dropped off. Hey, Roni.
Hola. Can you hear me?
Thank you for joining us.
Hey, man, I was here from the beginning. I was in the wrong one.
Okay.
I can't
All
see
good.
myself though.
So let me just text Lisa and see if she wants us to wait. Okay, so Roni, you missed the introduction. I was explaining to everyone that we're gonna do a role play that is essentially turning a buyer lead into a seller. Like we talked about on Tuesday, 55% of buyer leads are also gonna need to sell. And then of those 55%, another percent are gonna have to sell their home locally. And it becomes about us asking the right questions, get them to the point where they're willing to talk to us, and of course, for us to list their home. So the way we're gonna do this, again, Lindsay and I will do a role play, and then I'll share my screen, and I'll show you how to use the calculator or show somebody a valuation. Okay, so Lindsay, what do you wanna do first? Do you wanna be the agent, or do you wanna be the...
Why don't you let me be the agent first, and then we'll go through, and then from yours, we'll like initiate the calculator and then that call, and then we'll do the screen share.
That's a good idea.
Cool.
So,
Okay. Ring, ring, ring.
hello.
Hey, is this Jordana?
It sure is.
Hey, Jordana, this is Lindsay with Premier Listings. I saw you were looking on my site. You're looking at some properties in Boca.
Yeah, I'm just kind of looking around. I'm browsing. I thought, my family's outgrowing my current home, and I thought maybe of selling my current home, but it's really kind of the beginning part of the process.
Oh, that's nice. Well, it's wonderful you started looking. Where's your current home now?
I'm in Boca, so I would need to sell this home and buy something bigger.
Awesome. So something bigger in Boca as well. So you're going to stay in the same school district, I'm assuming, since you're outgrowing your home, and that's important to you.
Exactly. Yep.
Can everyone be on mute? Sorry.
I'll mute them. I'll mute you guys. Don't worry. Is that better?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Okay, so I know that you're just starting to look. What are your thoughts on selling your home? Have you given much thought to it? Where are you in that process?
I don't know much about what my home would be worth. So like I said, it's kind of early in the process for me, so I'm not really sure.
Great. Well, everyone has to start somewhere. While I have you on the phone, I do want to tell you about, what do I call it? This, sorry. So while I have you on the phone, I do want to tell you about a tool that my company uses. It is a 50-point data calculation, and it does evaluate your home. So if you think of like an appraisal, I don't know if you've ever had your house appraised, but that can cost you close to about $450, $500. And we do have a tool that can help with that evaluation, similar to an appraisal, if that's something that you would be interested in.
I mean, I guess so. Is that something you can email to me, or how does that work?
Well, it's something that I would love to do over Zoom. So I don't know if you've used Zoom before, but we can do over a Zoom call, and I can share my screen with you. It takes at tops 15 minutes, and I can just go through the breakdown of appreciation of your home, the area, Boca in general, and then we can talk a little bit more about the specific data points, just so that you have an idea moving forward, even though you may not be ready at this specific time.
Wow. So you're telling me in 15 minutes, you can give me you can evaluate my property, give me a price, which actually sounds really helpful because I'm not entirely, I have an idea of what my neighbors have sold their home for, but I don't know that much about it. So I would love that. How much does it cost?
So for us, it's free. So you're saving yourself about $450 to $500. And I'm able to do the breakdown for you so that whenever you are ready, you do have a better understanding and idea of what your home will be valued at, which will also help you with your purchase.
Okay, so, but like I said, I'm not ready yet. Does that matter?
That doesn't matter. We can go ahead and do this now just so you have an idea, since you're obviously looking online, looking at my site, and this will just kind of start getting the pieces fit together for you whenever you're moving forward until you get ready. And then we can run the evaluation again whenever you're ready to sell.
Okay, that sounds great. Let's do it.
Awesome. Tuesday at 5 it is. Thanks,
Perfect.
Joanna.
I'll see you then. Nice to meet you, Lindsay. Thank you.
Bye.
Okay, that was great. Thank you. Thank you for doing that. And I feel like as we do it, since we did it earlier today, you and I think it's still a little rough. Like you have to do it more and more because there are some little bumpy parts. And this is why I encourage all of you guys, as awkward as it is, we must role play. Even if that's you role playing by yourself or recording it, I don't really care. The more we role play, the more comfortable we get. And remember, like we talked about on Tuesday, confidence and conviction are what sells, right? You have to have confidence when it comes to selling someone's biggest investment. Okay, let's do the other way around. You're going to be the buyer/seller, and I'll be the agent. Okay, ring, ring.
Hello.
Hi, is this Lindsay?
This is she.
Great. Lindsay, this is Jordana. I'm a realtor in South Florida. I saw you were looking online. Just wondering what's got you looking online today?
Well, I need to upsize my home. It is way too tiny. And so I definitely need to
Then
sell
when-
it. Or I was thinking about renting it as well. I'm not quite sure yet, but again, I just started looking. So I don't really think I'm ready to make a move yet.
Okay, cool. So I can help you with both. I would love to help you with your purchase. I'd love to talk to you as well about selling your home. Right now in this area in South Florida, inventory is super tight and it sure is a great time to sell. So we offer a service in my office. It's a 50-point data calculation where we'll give you a range of value. It takes about 15 minutes. And believe it or not, it's similar to an appraisal. And I don't know if you know much about how real estate works, but in order for a lender to loan, they do have something done called an appraisal, which is a formal valuation of your home, and it usually costs anywhere from $400 to $500. So it's
Wow.
yeah, and so what this does is whether you're going to sell, like I know you're early on in the process, so whether you're going to sell, today, tomorrow, next month, or 6 months from now, it'll give you a range and a better idea, so that when you do decide that you want to take that step and put your house on the market to sell, first of all, I'd love the opportunity to list it for you, but I also want you to have an idea of what you'll be able to net, because that will impact your purchase as well.
Yeah, that sounds great. I know appraisals are expensive.
Yeah, appraisals are expensive. And again, like I said, it'll take me about 15 minutes to run it through with you. What I normally do is I will get on your schedule for 15 minutes. We'll do a Zoom call, and I'm sure, with everyone having done distance learning, and if you have kids, I'm sure you've seen Zoom. Yeah, so it'll be a quick 15-minute screen share, and that way you can see the calculations that I'm doing and the methods that I use to come up with a range of value. Of course, it will be determined by your property condition, upgrades that you've done, etc. But it gives you an idea, so that way when you are ready to sell, you have a better understanding of what you'll be able to net.
Wow, that sounds great.
Yeah, so if that sounds good, why don't I'll need your property address and some information, and then are you available tomorrow, let's say around 5? I have an opening for 15 minutes from 5 to 5:15. Does that work for you?
Yeah, that works great.
Okay, awesome. So thank you again, Lindsay, for your time. Like I said earlier, my goal is to help you with all of your real estate needs, help you with your purchase, help you with your sale. So I look forward to speaking with you tomorrow. I'll email you the link. And like I said, 15 minutes and you'll have an idea of what you can net from the sale of your home.
That sounds wonderful. I'll talk to you then.
Okay, thank you.
Bye. So I really, I liked that I took notes that you kind of defined what an appraisal was. I liked that because sometimes people say, yeah, I do know what an appraisal is, but you went at it with an appraisal is a formal valuation of your home. And we can do that for no cost to you. And then also giving them a better understanding of what they will net once they do sell the home. I liked those points a lot.
Thank you. Yeah, I think that when you guys are doing this with your clients, I want you to remember, and with your leads, remember the goal. The goal, is it about getting the property value? Yeah, it is, but it's also more so about setting up the listing, the presentation, right? So step one, when you talk to a buyer, think about if you weren't using this tactic, if you weren't using this strategy, and someone, and Lindsay and I just had that call, and Lindsay said she was selling. What I would say to her is, oh, that's awesome. I'd love to be able to list. Well, that's nice. Like, why does Lindsay care? If I'd love to list it because yeah, I want to make the money, but like, what is that? What's in it for her? So instead, what we're doing is we're giving the sellers something of value, and in turn enabling us to have and develop that relationship. Because guess what? Tomorrow at 5, when her and I talk, and she sees my face and I see hers, we start to know each other, we start to develop trust and build that rapport. And then tomorrow, by the way, when we have that 15-minute conversation about the calculator, once I do that, then the next step is to say to them, I hope that was helpful for you. What I'd love to do now is schedule a time to come and see your home, at which point I will walk you through my presentation. And in that presentation, you're going to see all the different things that we do at my company to help you market and sell your home for as quickly as possible and for as much as possible.
Great.
What do you guys think? Is that a good, you guys think that this is a little bit of a different strategy rather than just asking for the listing, right? This is giving somebody value, right? Okay. So does anybody have any questions, or do you want me to do or answer anything about what Lindsay and I just did, and either, or any feedback? What did you, I'd love to hear from you guys. What do you think about this script?
That's kind of what I did yesterday with a client. We were talking, and I've talked to her for a while, but she's like, Courtney, I finally found something I'm interested in. I said, hey, I have a question for you. Do you have something you need to sell? And she goes, I do. And I said, okay, I'd like to put together this. Talked about the evaluation. I would love to put that together with you. And when I see you on Tuesday, we can go through it. And I'll also bring my presentation as well, and we can go through. So I'm just going to do it all in one shebang. Show a house.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she's older too. So
wait, so that was a buyer lead that you essentially turned into a seller.
Yeah.
So you did exactly.
I never had asked her, do you have a property to sell? I hadn't asked that question. So now that's like on top of mind.
Right. So I want you guys all to remember when we're selling, whatever it is that you're selling, what it comes down to the questions that you ask. So in Courtney's example, when she asked, oh, are you selling? All of a sudden it opens up an entirely new transaction, because remember, we're helping people buy and we're helping people sell. So we have to remember to ask these questions, because that will lead you to where you want to be, which is getting more listings. So, and Courtney, you said something else that's interesting. You could absolutely do this all at once, or you could skip steps. If someone doesn't want the CMA, the 15-minute, 50-point data, you don't have to do it. But if you are just meeting somebody and you're starting to develop that, what it does is it gives you a way in. It gives you a value that you can provide to somebody to take it to that next step. Because let's assume in the role play with Lindsay and I, let's assume she was tougher with me, and maybe she said, yeah, I'm going to sell, but I already have somebody in mind. Or I'm going to just sell with the person that farms my neighbor, or not farms, the person that lists all the homes in this area that already knows this neighborhood. So to overcome that objection, right now, if you didn't use the 50 points calculator, you would simply say, well, I would love the chance. I want to try. And they're thinking, why? Like, what's in it for them? So the spin on that is to say, so I'm going to just pretend like we're doing it, Lindsay. So I would say to you, so Lindsay, I know that you are considering listing it with the neighborhood listing agent. But before you do that, I want to tell you about something that we do that's a little bit unique. It's a 50-point Side note, this is not an evaluation, which you guys are saying. It's a valuation, different words. So it's not EVAL, it's just VAL. Okay, so back to what I was saying. So Lindsay, I know that you want to work with your listing, the agent in the area, that you probably have received mailers every single month for the past couple of years. What we do is unique. We have a 50-point valuation, similar to an appraisal. And the reason why it's so important to do that with me is because it's going to give you a more accurate idea of what you could sell your home for. So and like I said, I know that you already wanted to talk to her. Just give me the opportunity to at least do that Zoom call. You don't have to even meet me, and let's see where we can go from there. So the point is, it's a little bit of a different spin, and I think you'll be able to overcome obstacles when somebody tries to push back on you. Or like Courtney, who was that woman? Was it Nona? That
said, I have a friend,
right?
And he's gonna do it for like 2%,
right?
Or something like.
Right. So all of us have gotten leads and buyers that say to you, "Oh, I'm gonna just work with my friend." So what this does is it gives you another reason other than the reasons we already know. There's lots of reasons why people shouldn't work with friends, and we've all studied those scripts. But this script is another layer of you providing value and you not being their friend, right? Okay, so anyone else have any comments or questions or want me to do any part of that again before I show you the next step?
I think I have like a minor question, but coming from a person who's newer to the industry and hasn't had experience with conversion as far as meeting a lead, converting it into a listing or whatnot. Is it just as simple as asking, when you're coming up with when you're approaching a buyer lead, just as simple as asking, do you have a home that you have to sell, and getting that? Is it just as simple as just asking it?
Correct.
All right.
Yep, it's just as simple as saying, so Victor, I know you're looking online. Do you own your home right now? Do you have to sell that first before you purchase?
Mm-hmm.
Right, and then you would say, well, no, I rent. Or you would say, well, actually, I'm just staying with my whoever. Actually, I'm just living on the bench. I mean, I don't know. You're whatever you say, but yes. The answer is, it's like I was saying earlier. When it comes to selling, it's very much about the questions that we ask. The questions that we ask are going to lead us to the information that we need.
Mm-hmm. And I just want to comment.
Are you laughing at me, Roni? Roni's laughing at me.
I just want to comment and say that I just think that.
Oh shoot, Victor! Victor, you I don't know if it's just can you say that again, Victor? We lost you.
Victor! He's gone.
He's like, I just want to say this really important thing, and then everything freezes. I was so interested in hearing what he was about to say too. Roni, you look so happy, Roni.
All right.
Sunny there.
Wait, I want to hear Victor. Can Victor come back?
Victor, where'd you go?
You see him?
It's 4:25.
Victor's
Do
gone.
you guys want me to do the role play with the calculator?
Yeah, because you said you changed it a little bit to make it a little bit more consumer friendly. So
I did. Okay, so let me
Maria.
share my screen. Let me share my screen. Okay. Can you guys see it?
yeah, so I'm not gonna really be on this. You don't need my voice.
I know I might. Just give me a minute. Okay, so first of all, I changed the script. I renamed it to Get More Listing Presentations. And then this is where you'll find this. This is the most important thing. This piece right here that I've highlighted in yellow, it says, we provide a unique service. It's a free valuation. So that this thing is what you guys need to memorize. We use 50 different data points. It's a lot like a real appraisal, but appraisals cost $400 or more, and this is free. So this is what I want you guys to remember, okay? Now, the calculator, I created on Google Drive a sample that says client sample. Okay, do not use this, because if you do, you will ruin it for everyone else. What you need to do is create file. You make a copy, which I might as well just do, because why not?
I have a question real quick. If you lock that and then you make a copy, will the copy be locked as well?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Because I wonder, just so that doesn't get messed up, but if you, I don't know, we'll mess with it later.
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know.
If
But
it's locked, you cannot make a copy.
Okay.
Thank you, Courtney. Okay, so
Sorry, I kept trying to.
okay, so this is the sample, right? So what I did was I took out all the instructions, and so Lindsay, let me do this with you as if you're the client, but just for you guys, let me point out the differences. This is the calculator that we use. Okay, cool. So there's some instructions, there's little notes, there's all this little stuff in italics. That's all been removed. So for the client version, which is here, it's just a little bit cleaner, right? So you're gonna save the copy. I would save it on your own drive so nobody else can see. Rename it to whatever you want. And then why don't I just do this with you, Lindsay, as if you're the seller, okay? Okay, so Lindsay, thank you so much. It was great chatting with you yesterday. And like I promised, what you see on your screen now is the 50-point CMA calculator. So let me first start with the fact that CMA stands for Comparative Market Analysis, and that's the term that realtors use to determine a property's value. So normally when realtors do a CMA, they use 3 active comps and 3 closed comps. This calculator is an advanced calculator that uses 50 different data points, which is why, like I said to you yesterday, it's a very accurate way to come up with a range of value. So here in this green box where you see your address in blue, what I did was I added your subdivision, your bedroom, and your bathroom, and bathroom, sorry, and square footage. And the reason why I entered this data is because further down on the sheet, I used that and I went up and down 10% in order to find comps that were comps, similar comps. And by the way, when I use the word comps, it's a short word. It's an abbreviation for comparable, which stands for comparable home.
And Jordana, why would you go up and down 10%?
So when we look at comparable properties, you want to look at homes that are the most comparable. So some of them are going to be, and we consider in real estate a comparable home, one that may be smaller than your home by 10% or larger by 10%. Okay. So like I said, this green box is your property information. Now, this darker green underneath it where it says the reasonable range of value, as you can see here, we take the average of 3 different methods to determine the value of your property. So there's the adjusted baseline, the active comps, and you know what I'll do for you, Lindsay? Let me get my handy dandy pointer, because this is my new thing. Cool. Okay. You see here where it says method?
Yes.
These are the 3 methods that I used to come up with your property's value. And I'm going to walk you through each one, but you have a low end, an average, and a high end for each. And then this line on the bottom gives you your average. Now understand that, as it says right here, that real estate is not a commodity. So there is not a set price like gold. There's a range of value, and the range depends on various things, including property condition, including upgrades, anything like that. So like I said, Lindsay, I've never been to your home, and I'm sure it's gorgeous, but please understand that until
Can't you see how gorgeous?
Oh, it's just stunning. Hold on, someone's trying to get in. Did I admit? Oh boy. Is everyone in the, I don't know what's happening. I'm getting all these notices. Okay. Okay. So yeah, so as I was saying, there is a range of value, and that's why you can see this is a pretty big range, you know, from like about 319 to 390. So again, like I said, it really does depend on the condition of the property, the upgrades that you've done, and so on. So with that being said, let me scroll down a little bit. And each of these, there's 3 boxes underneath, and each of these boxes explains the 3 different methods that we've used. So in this box right here, where it says the adjusted baseline, what I've done is I've taken a valuation that somebody else did. So that's either in your case, I could not find a recent sale or an appraisal. So I looked at the assessed value. And what I did was I increased that by 20% because that's the baseline value. The reason why I increased it is because the assessed value that the property appraiser comes up with is always going to be 80% of market value, about that. Like I said, give or take some based on upgrades and so on. Then what I did here is I entered the date that the baseline value was established. And then what I did is I adjusted for appreciation based on other properties in your neighborhood. And that gave us an adjusted value of $335,000. So the second method I use is active comps. Active means any available or pending home. So the home is not yet closed. And remember at the top, I put in your criteria. And so this box here shows this is the criteria that I used to locate comps for this method. I was able to locate 12 comps that are similar. I took the average and I put that number in this box here. The third method that I did was the closed comps method. And I used about 40 comps from the past 12 months. This is actually wrong, so let me adjust this. And the reason why this is so unique is because most other realtors are not going to take into account the appreciation. But this calculator will take that into account. So the average of all 40 of the closed sales is $355,000. So if I scroll up, it takes us back here, and you'll see that it gives us an average of all three of these methods, and this is the range of the valuation of your home. So do you have any questions about how any of this, how I did any of this? Like, are you there? Or did you freeze?
No, I do actually. So where does the low end and the high end come in? Because I see the averages of like the 355 to 335 in the top where the green is.
Yeah. So, okay. So first of all, sorry, I'm editing this as we go. I just decided as I'm talking, I don't want them to see the value. So I'm going to change it. I just changed it. What I'm going to do instead is I'm going to say to you, okay, Lindsay, this is where I entered your property information and I use these three methods, and then I'll show you these three methods below. And then I won't scroll down, so you won't see this because people are going to get so stuck on this number that they're not going to listen to the rest of the call. So to answer your question regarding the averages, let me get my handy dandy spotlight tool. Okay, so this line here, this is the average of the adjusted baseline, which is the tax assessed value. This is the high and this is the low.
Where do those numbers come from?
Those numbers come from a formula. So if you look in the cell, I don't know if you know that much about Excel and how Google Sheets work, but it's a formula that will make the calculations.
Okay.
Ronnie?
Am I muted? Just quick question. The adjusted baseline is based off of when they purchased the property, correct?
No. That's a good question. The baseline value.
So if you go, can you just scroll up to that first where the appreciation is?
Sure.
So the date value.
Okay, so I think I can explain it. So a baseline value is something where we set future, you know.
Like it's like the foundation?
Thank you.
Or it's just.
Yeah, it's the foundation. That's a way easier way to say. Okay, so it's a foundation. So in order, from a real estate perspective, the best way to come up with a valuation for a specific property is to look at one of these three things: the assessed value, a recent sale, or an appraisal.
Okay.
And so, wait,
do you know what the assessed value is, right, Rudy?
I got that part. I'm asking this in the method 1. Can you hear me?
Yes.
In method 1, where it says date value established, where does the date come from? Is that the date the person purchased the property? And then the present date is today. So the appreciation would basically go off of when they initially purchased the property to today. Is that what that is?
Sort of. The reason why you're throwing me is because you keep saying purchased, and that's this date here. This is what you're asking, right?
Yeah.
Okay. The date that you put here is the date of whatever of these three values you're using. So let's pretend for a second you are trying to determine the value of a home that was sold 18 months ago. What you're going to do is put that price here and then put the price of that home sold 18 months ago. Now, if it was an appraisal, then you're going to put the date the appraisal was completed. If it was a tax assessment, you're going to put the first of the year of whatever year the property was, the assessed value was done.
So what do you suggest is a better approach? Because an appraisal is something you'd have to pay for. Recent sale would basically, I mean, we can get that off of the MLS, or we can go to the tax appraiser. So that's what I'm asking. Like, what number or what date or what figure should we figure out? What is the baseline? Is that baseline going to be, because the appraisal, most likely you're going to have to pay for that. So that would kind of eliminate this whole entire appreciation part of it, because you would get an appraisal today, you wouldn't get an appraisal from 3-4 years ago. So I'm saying this date right here, is that based off, that's going to be based off of the last sale of that property as opposed to what today value is.
Okay.
That's what I'm asking.
It's an excellent question. And most of the time, no one's going to have an appraisal. It's very unlikely. If you talk to a buyer and they say, oh, you know what, I actually have an appraisal, then that's what, oh, great. What was that value? What was the date it was completed? And that's when you plug this in here. Okay. However, so the appraisal, and we're not suggesting this, the fact that it's here, we're not suggesting that they go and pay, because we're doing this instead of an appraisal. But if on the off chance that somebody has an appraisal, then you would plug in the date it was appraised, the present day, and then whatever the number was that they came up with. So that's unlikely, right? A recent sale, you honestly, just like in everything else that we do, you guys, you're gonna have to use your brain and figure out what is going to get me to where I want to be. Meaning, if the recent sale is a number that is like ridiculous, because let's pretend the property was sold and it was like, it had to be gutted, or maybe it was sold and it was knocked down, then don't use that recent sale. You have to look at those. If you have an appraisal, which is unlikely, look at the number and see if you like it. See if it justifies what you're trying to do. When I did this one for this particular property, I knew the value was going to be between $320 and $350. And so when I don't have a recent sale, I don't have an appraisal. More times than not, Roni, you're going to have to look at the assessed value. Because what?
That's what I'm saying. Like, I just wanted to figure out what would be the faster way to do it. Would it be just to go to the public records and look at what the assessed value says? But just like you said, if they purchased the property and it was like a foreclosure, or it was like an auction or something like that, it would throw the numbers off. That's why I was asking.
Right, in which case don't use it. So like with Lindsay and Roni, when you guys listed that property in Pompano,
right, it was a recent sale.
That was a 12-month, that property had been purchased 12 months prior, in which case I would have used that and not the assessed value. So what I'm trying to say, Roni, is it doesn't really matter what number you use here. You have to use one of those three options, and most of the time it's going to be the assessed value. Now let me also explain, because Lindsay asked us earlier, it was a great question. When it comes to the assessed value, usually, so everyone knows the property appraiser for each county goes to every single property and uses this complicated way of figuring out what they think our properties are worth. And why? Because that's what determines how much taxes we pay. And so the assessed value usually approximates 8%. So in order to make the adjustment for the fact that it's going to be a low number, remember when I did it for this property, the value, the tax appraiser site showed me 247, and I knew that property is not worth 247. In fact, it's probably worth more like 350. So when you take a number and you multiply it times 1, what happens? You get the same number. So the way to do it faster, so there's 2 things I could have done. Could have taken 247, or let's say 250, and 20% of 250 is 50,000, and I could have added 250 plus 50 is 300, which is what this is right here. But to make it faster, I took 250 and I multiplied it times 1.2. So 2 represents 20%, and that's how I got to this number. If that's a confusing way for you to understand it, then don't do 1.2. Just add 20% to whatever the assessed number shows you in the appraiser's on the appraiser's site. But again, Roni, all this is to explain to you that what we're trying to do to give people an idea of their value, the value of their home, is use as much data as possible, right? And the 3 methods are the active comps, that's straightforward. The closed comps, that's straightforward. This third method takes some other valuation, whatever valuation we have, a recent sale, an appraisal, or the assessed value. And as we know, aren't going to be a lot of appraisals, and there may be recent sales, but you certainly don't want to use a sale from 20 years ago because you just don't. Instead, you want to use the assessed value. Does that answer your question, Roni? Okay, so here's something else I want to talk about. I want you guys to be careful when you're doing this with your clients and you're doing this with a lead over the phone. So first of all, can you do this over the phone and through Zoom? You absolutely can. Can you do it with them in person? Of course. You could print this out and you could walk them through it and just show it to them on paper. Just be careful, because with using all these calculations, depending on who it is that we're talking to, you might get questions that are going to be tough, and it might be too much information. But either way, understand the underlying goal. The underlying goal is to get more listing presentations, which will lead to more listings. So let's pretend when Lindsay and I did the role play, and I said to her, and she said to me, yes, I'm actually considering selling my home. And I said, well, awesome, Lindsay, I'd love to talk to you about that. And I'd love to talk to you about listing your home. And Lindsay said to me, awesome, why don't you come over tomorrow at 3, we can talk about it. Would I do this entire thing and put myself through this? No, I would not. I just wouldn't. But if someone is if someone is trying to say, you know what, I don't really need to talk to you, Jordana, I'm going to just work with the other agent down the street. Or, yeah, I am going to sell, but I don't need to talk to anyone right now because it's a year from now. The entire purpose of this is not about the number. I mean, yeah, the number is important, but what it's about is developing a relationship and building trust and showing whoever it is that you're working with that you are the one that they should choose to sell their home. Remember, a lot of times, like, for example, Roni, with your listing, the more expensive listings, it's a $900,000 listing. He's paying you $27,000. That's only you. In total, he's paying almost $60,000 in commissions. That's a lot of money. So sometimes it's going to be easy. People are going to say, and like with Mike, well, Michael wasn't so easy, but with some people, you can get away. You're going to be able to list it quite easily. With other people, you're going to have to work harder. And this entire strategy, that's exactly what it is. It's a strategy for you to meet more people and land more listings. Can you land listings without this? Of course you can. You don't need this. Will this help you give more value to people that are considering selling their homes? I think it will. So I hope, I'm going to stop my share. Does anyone else have any questions before I leave this screen?
I do. How do you get the appreciation rate? Where do you get that from?
So the appreciation rate, sorry, that wasn't you. Something just popped up on a screen. The appreciation rate is a number that I figured out. Don't mess with it. You don't need to. There's another calculator. It's a whole other explanation, Michelle, and I don't think don't worry about it.
So we don't have to adjust it. It's 9% all the time.
Well, you can adjust it. And what I would say is adjust it, prior to your don't show this to them until you've adjusted it. You know what I mean? So what I'm saying, let's pretend for a second, Michelle, that you know that house is going to be worth 350, right? Or maybe it's going to be worth 325. I might put this as 7. There we go. The number just dropped to where I need it to be. So the reason why I'm explaining that to you, Michelle, we all know in real estate, this number and its appreciation rate, honestly, is going to be anywhere between 3 and 10%. That sounds crazy, but it's not crazy. It's true, depending on the area. For example, certain country clubs where there's high membership fees, they're not going to appreciate as much. And other areas, maybe like areas near downtown LA that's on fire, or maybe a neighborhood that's like, you know, really appealing or close to the beach or whatever, it's going to have a higher appreciation. So there is no way for any one calculator to take all of this into effect. It's impossible. So what I'm trying to do is explain to you guys the concept so you understand it, and then in turn can provide more value. So Michelle, it looks like you're driving, so be careful. But
Yes. Okay.
But what I want, if you could see the screen, don't look now, but if
I could see. I got it.
all right, so if you see the screen, I changed it to 7% because I think it's worth 325. Yeah. Now, if I thought it was worth 350, okay, I'll change it to 9. I'm giving you guys the authority to change this number anywhere between 3 and 10% so that your number appears in a way that gives your client an accurate understanding of what their property's value might be. Is that helpful?
Okay. Yes, thank you.
Okay. Wait, Victor, you're back. I'm so excited that you're okay because you froze for a second. And I really wanted to hear, you said, this is what you said. You said, I have some feedback, and then it went like this.
No, I typed it, I typed my feedback in the chat, but I just wanted to say that it was just, you know, a way of providing value to the clients without just being selfish and saying, you know, I just want an extra commission by listing your house. You're having self-interest, and I'm going to provide you value. And also in return, I would expect, you know, that you would allow me to list your home for you.
Perfect. Yes. Thank you for sharing. I totally agree. And like I said, this is just another tool in your tool belt of things that you can offer to buyers and sellers to help them solve their problems. We're trying to help people buy and sell real estate, and this is a way for you to overcome obstacles. And like you said, Victor, provide value in a way that isn't like, you're not talking with commission breath. Commission breath is this thing that real estate coaches talk about. Commission breath is when people start asking immediately for listings or whatever else. And they're asking, oh, I want, and what is it in it? What's in it for the other person? That's what this is. And so I appreciate that comment. Thank you for that. Okay, so we totally went over, but I know deep down that this is going to get us all more listings. So I strongly encourage you to practice the script that is on Drive for everyone to see. There are videos. I uploaded a video today. I mean, I was really not, I don't even know what I was doing, but I did it. I did that video for you guys. This calculator is here. And I'm also happy if anyone wants to do an individual role play with me, or they want me to walk them through this calculator further, let me know. I'm happy to do it. If you want me to do it for you and with your client, I can do it like we did with Michael Roney. If you have another client and you want to see me do it like in real time with an actual seller, I would love to. So as always, you know, my goal is to help support you guys and help us all sell more. So yeah. So Lindsay, I think you emailed everyone their lists. I know it's a little bit over. Please try and call.
Does anyone need a list?
Okay.
Calling? No, I don't think so.
Okay. Please try and make calls for exactly 60 minutes. So it's 4:50. So make calls until 5:50, and then please post your results in the accountability channel in Slack.
Yeah, if you finish your list early, do like call your attempteds again. Call some random people in the pond. Just make sure that's 60 minutes. I'm eating my lunch. I'm sorry. I'm eating lunch.
Just call some random people.
Call random people. You guys know how to fish.
call low hanging fruit, go fishing, find some whales. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.